days, Alice. Bang, zoom, straight to the
Welcome back to the world of tomorrow as we talk about another Futurama episode. This time the series has landed, and God, do I love the titles of the first two episodes. Just the fact that they are not about anything that goes on, and are just talking about the creator's sort of journey of making it. And this episode starts with the best advert ever. And my favourite tagline, which was probably quite, depressing at the time. But I think it's almost definitely Amazon and lots of companies' philosophy. Our crew is replaceable, but your package isn't.
Planet Express. Our crew is replaceable. Your package isn't.
Well, the package is also replaceable. Basically, anyone that's not important is replaceable, and that's everyone but the business people. And we get another glance of things not really changing in 1,000 years, as the cereals are now Admiral Crunch and Archduke Franz Ferdinand Crunch.
Caffeinated bacon? Baconated grapefruit? Admiral Crunch?
Well, if you don't like that, try some Archduke Chocula.
And this episode introduces us to the rest of the crew and cast of Planet Express. We see Hermes, and he's got a bit of a juxtaposition, because in the first couple of episodes, it feels like he is doing a lot more running of the Planet Express company. He's making all of the decisions according to the professor, and he's the one that hands out the package. Whereas in later seasons, it's normally good news, and the professor giving out a package.
Now, which one of you is the captain?
You.
The professor is tasked with picking out a new captain. But his decision comes very easily, as Leader's already signing away paperwork, Fry's eating cereal, and Bender's getting drunk. So she has to go check that she's not going to sue the company if she dies from sonic diarrhea, which I'm not sure ever comes up again in the show, but does leave me with questions.
Death by airlock failure. Mm-hmm. Death by brain parasite.
Yeah.
Death by sonic diarrhea.
And then our next character introduced is the Dr. Zoidberg, our human expert, as he tells Fry to open his second mouth so he can examine the brain. He also gets Fry's gender wrong.
Mouth, and let's have a look at that brain. No, not that mouth.
I only have one.
Modern sighting, all that, it can be hard to tell sometimes. We don't know all that much about Fry at this point. But Zoidberg's also shown quite a bit of respect in this early episode. Like, nobody is just outright rude and mean to him. Which, might not be a lot of respect, but it's something. The professor introduces Amy as his lab assistant, who also happens to have the same blood type as him.
Amy Wong. She's an engineering student of mine. I like having her around because she has the same blood type as me.
So it's good to know he's not in it for the money. And as Amy sets about cleaning Bender, she is outed as a really rich kid by Leela.
Look, we're not as rich as everybody says.
Uh-huh. What sorority do you belong to?
Kappa Kappa Wong.
As she owns her own sorority, or her family does at least. And as you go through the season, it's clear that she is even richer than she lets on. Not only owning their own sorority, but literally owning half of the planet Mars. And Bender decides that this is his time to strike. While the professor might not be after the money, Bender does his look at my head, look at my head, look at my head dance.
La la la, look at my head. It's so crazy, look at my head.
And pickpockets all her cash. Because he might not have the dexterity to catch himself, as his head's thrown at him. He does have the dexterity to pick someone's pockets. That's probably inbuilt into him at this point.
Let's mosey.
Nice catch, idiot.
And as Fry goes off-road, not enjoying the whalers and gophers explaining the history of the moon, he's back to his lazy ways, expecting it to be an episode or two. It wasn't. It was literally the next shot where Fry says to dump the package in a sewer, and Bender tells them to burn it instead.
Hurry up, I want to see the moon.
Relax, it's open till 9.
Let's just dump it in the sewer and say we delivered it.
Too much work. Let's burn it and say we dumped it in the sewer.
But he doesn't. They do deliver the package, and Fry doesn't get punched in the stomach for being an asshole or a wise guy.
Wise guy, huh? If I wasn't so lazy, I'd punch you in the stomach.
And as the crew go into a moon-themed space park, theme park thingy, because I guess the moon is sort of like Florida of Earth. Probably quite cheap real estate, and a great place to build a theme park. Because I'm pretty sure that's how Disneyland, Disney World works. And they've even got the annoying mascots, right? And as one threatens Bender, Bender tells them that harder, stronger mascots have tried, and just shoves the beer bottle into the mascot's eye.
Better mascots than you have tried.
At least I still have my self-respect.
And I've always had questions about that mascot, because he looks like he is just made of that moon stuff, and it's not a costume. And I do worry that Bender blinded a man, but also, whatever, Bender's done worse. As Fry buys a load of tatty magnets, one sticks to Bender and he becomes a country singer. And again, it's this bit where I'm not sure if the creators of the show are geniuses and planned all this stuff, or just knew how to reuse bits properly.
Get it off! Get it off! Get it! Uh-oh. How many roads must a man walk down?
And as they go off, we get whalers on the moon. We're whalers on the moon.
We're whalers on the moon. We carry a harpoon. But there ain't no whale, so we tell tall tales and sing a whaling tune.
One of the best songs in the series. And Bender goes on to talk about the Jerusalem Sexatorium, which I have questions about. I don't think this ever comes up again in the show, but I should probably Google it. Because what would a sexatorium be in the future, and why is it in Jerusalem?
You're the kind of guy who visits Jerusalem and doesn't want to see the Sexateria.
Maybe I...
But again, another bit. Fry wants to do something 20th century. He wants to explore the real moon.
That's what I came to see. I want to go out there and jump around like an astronaut.
Again, another recurring theme of Fry still wanting to live in the 20th century. But as he and Leela go to do that, Amy has lost the keys to the spaceship inside the claw machine. She's super annoyed, and I love annoyed Amy. I think we get that a couple of times where she swears in Martian that is probably a real world language that I just don't know. And as Fry goes off-road, not enjoying the whalers and gophers explaining the history of the moon.
We're whalers on the moon.
We carry a harpoon.
But there ain't no whale, so we tell tall tales and sing a whaling tune.
It does raise the real question of how much of our history will be just lost to time. 1,000 years ago in this country, we had a king who's not part of our list of British monarchs. We typically do. His name was Harold, and he got shot in the eye by an arrow at the Battle of Hastings. And that's literally all most people can tell you about him. So, maybe we will all be lost to history, and everything we did done through a weird lens. Who knows? As Leela and Fry continue to explore the moon, they crash out, and Leela has to once again save Fry's life. So that's 2 times in 2 episodes. Leela is doing pretty goddamn good, and I think she is going to do this a million more times. Bender gets kicked out of the theme park, and
That's her, officers! That's the woman who programmed me for evil! Yeah, well, I'm gonna go build my own theme park with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the park!
we get blackjack hookers. Again, amazing bits. As Leela and Fry are forced to find shelter in a moon farm, who explains that oxygen doesn't grow on trees and introduces his robot daughters. And we get one of the best recurring characters this show has to offer, the Crushinator.
Yoo-hoo!
Daisy May 128K
Yoo-hoo!
and the Crushinator.
You-hoo.
And Bender instantly sleeps with the Crushinator, causing them to all get chased out by our lovely Space Confederate flag moon buggy.
Bender, you didn't touch the Crushinator, did you?
Of course not. A lady that fine, you gotta romance first.
Because 1,000 years have gone by, and people are still fucking salty they lost. We get the space chase, as Crushinator chases down the Planet Express crew. And there are space alligators. I know a bit that is not brought up again, and I just fucking love. The professor's watching the whole time from Earth, which, you know, questionable level of trust he gives his crew. It doesn't really matter, because he's in his pajamas and goes to sleep.
To do something. But I am already in my pajamas.
The team find themselves at the original moon landing site. Leela explains to Fry it's just a plastic flag and dead man's footprints in the...
It's just a crummy plastic flag and a dead man's tracks in the dust.
And it seems to get him all sad. Bender's once again locked out, and he's going to build his own moon landing site with blackjack and hookers. But in fact, forget everything but the hookers. In fact, forget everything.
Built my own lunar lander with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the lunar lander and the blackjack. Screw the whole thing.
Fry opens his heart up to Leela, and we get our first sort of moment between the two. And it's quite, you know, a classy little thing, but it's also, you know, a little bit emotional. But Bender walked off and once again slept with the Crushinator. Because, you know, who can resist the Crushinator?
Had to come back for the Crushinator, eh, robot? Well,
And he's getting chased. But Amy comes to save the day. Her crane skills have drastically improved as she has spent hundreds of dollars on possibly claw machine goes, but also Amy's rich, so who cares how much money she spends?
oh, dang it!
She did it. She saves the day. God, and I just love how well written episodes of television these shows are. Watching a lot of modern animation recently, and the amount of times that it's almost just incoherent bits next to each other. This has both structure and setups and payoffs. And I don't know, it's such a low bar, but I've watched so many shows recently that just haven't even had that basic storytelling and basic screenwriting. So it's so good to watch these and like actually enjoy animation again. Looking at you, Paradise PD, Farzarg, or whatever it's called. Just get the basic storytelling right, please. Alright, these were fun. I'll catch you next time.